All right, Jordan, you're live.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the November 3rd, 2022 Police and Public Safety meeting. I'm going to begin by taking attendance. I have Councilmember Brennan, myself, Town Clerk Michelle Martinelli, Town Attorney Lana Finning, Comptroller Elizabeth Greenwood, and Seth Goldstein. And there are no other attendees. Okay. Next order of business will be, I need a motion to accept the October 6th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? And it passes. Operationally, the Police Reform Implementation Task Force has finalized the report and has emailed it to the town board for submission. I just want to reiterate again, I said it last meeting, I want to thank the entire PRITF team for everyone's collaborative effort. We've done a lot of good work, and we're going to take that baton and that report. We're going to carry it forward now and continue to implement those things that we worked so hard on. So thank you. Fleet and equipment. Our 604 and 607 replacement vehicles are currently at Niskayuna Tire to be upfit. We will be keeping the decommissioned patrol vehicles and putting them into service in the detective division. So at some point, we'll be decommissioning 2 detective division vehicles for potentially sale. But I don't think we need a resolution at this point because we're a little bit a ways from that. Our department applied for and was awarded a Niskayuna Community Foundation grant for $1,230 for the purchase of 2 trailers to mount our radar signs. I have the letter here, the award letter. First and foremost, I want to thank Officer Munger, who sought out this grant and applied for it. He's been our traffic liaison. He saw an area of need. He went out and sought some grant funding to get us a little bit more light on our feet with our trailers and our speed signs, and that was excellent initiative on his part. I'm proud of him for doing that, so thank you to him. But also thank you to the Niskayuna Community Foundation for recognizing this need and funding it. So we thank you to both for their great work.
We need a reso to accept that.
Yep, that's on there. Our agency is currently researching new GPS and fleet maintenance software programs. We've been working with Seth Goldstein regarding this. We have AT&T's FirstNet that we are piloting currently. Verizon is shutting down their 3G network to convert to the 4G and 5G network. And because of that, we were going to have to replace the GPS infrastructure in our vehicles anyway. So we're just looking at the different systems to see what's going to be the best for us moving forward. Building the Sallyport drain, something we're still working on. I know I talked to Superintendent Ray Smith. We're just trying to pick a date as to when we are going to start the dig on that. I also wasn't on the agenda, but I want to thank the Highway Department and Superintendent Ray Smith for taking down the walls in our parking lot. Anyone that drives through Town Hall sees that those walls have been bending and cracking and fracturing for quite some time, and they did a great job while they were doing other work around Town Hall to be able to take those down for us. And speaking to Superintendent Ray Smith, we're going to have to start talking about, as a committee, sort of the options of what we would like to replace in the spring of 2023 with regards to those structures. So any options are options, and we just got to start looking into that. Training Recruit Spataro continues to progress through the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy. He would be scheduled to graduate, if we continue on this course, in February of 2023. Our agency is currently conducting our department-wide annual fall range from November 2nd through the 10th. We had our first range day yesterday. I only mention this every single year just because there are times where there will be officers firing guns in our town, and those make noises. So just to kind of put on everybody's radar, that if you are in the town of Niskayuna and you're hearing gunshots, it may be because we're doing training. That's not to discourage anyone from calling our dispatch center if they hear gunshots, but I always like to put that out there just as a reminder that we're doing it right now. Our agency is currently completing training on officer safety and officer safety and procedure and domestic violence response through the Police One Academy platform. Something also that wasn't under training that I had to add last minute to the agenda is our TASER instructors, both Sergeant Chris Henry and Officer Munger, have expired their certifications, and the classes are sort of nationwide through Axon, and the closest classes right now are in excess of 5 hours away. So I'm trying to work, I've made a couple contacts through Axon and also local chiefs to see if there's any way we can get into another class that may be closer to us, but they don't post a schedule for 2023 in advance, unfortunately. So it's possible that we may have to send one of the two of them to Wainscott, New York on December 14th.
What's that, Henry?
Officer Malta. We're not due for recertification. It's an annual training that everyone has to certify in. We're not due for recertification until into February of 2023 to then recertify all the police officers. But we have to get the TASER instructors completed to then certify the way. So, citizen correspondence, some ongoing ones. We talked about Scott and Tammy Kishbaugh, the concerns over Van Antwerp Road between Balltown Road and Union Street. Again, I've mentioned this multiple meetings. We're still looking at it. That signage is not a part of town code. At this point, I think that we're going to have a longer conversation, take this off for now, possibly even remove that singular sign because it's not enforceable regarding how we would like to move forward with this. It's not an overnight project to deal with, just because there's a lot of concerns about that area with regards to the different types of vehicles that are utilizing that roadway. And I think we need to sort of move this over the side and continue those discussions because of the extensiveness that we would have to correct or change inside the town code. Does that make sense? Do you have anything like that?
The only thing I would add is that it's kind of sandwiched between county roadways and the city of Schenectady, so we have to also include them in discussions on how we proceed moving forward.
Very good. Also ongoing, Mike Casella. We had talked about parking zone where the boat launch is. Still looking into this. Hunt had requested a stop sign on Cayuga at Algonquin because it is an identified uncontrolled intersection. Officer Munger did go over there and run some analysis. You know, a review of the LexisNexis crash data shows no reported crashes at this intersection in the past 10 years. He did a neighborhood canvas and kind of looked at the different roadways over there for the uncontrolled intersections. He also referenced the Department of Transportation, U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration's manual on uniform traffic control devices. And he had recommended, in conjunction with working with this resident, that it might make better sense to propose a yield sign for this location, which is the Cayuga at Algonquin Road intersection. And in speaking with Officer Munger, you know, with regards to the yield sign versus the stop sign, you know, we don't feel like it's appropriate that a stop sign would be for that neighborhood because, you know, a stop sign, and I'll just read exactly what he quoted, stop sign should be installed in a manner that minimizes the number of vehicles having to stop. At intersections where a full stop is not necessary at all times, consideration should be given to using less restrictive measures such as a yield sign, and that's in the manual itself. And because of the low volume of traffic, the lack of crashes, we do believe it should be controlled, but we think it would be most appropriate to use a yield sign at that intersection.
What's that manual called?
I'll give it to you so you can write it down. I don't think we're going to put it on for a public hearing for this month. That would be something we would look to do in December. Okay. I hadn't had any new correspondence up until yesterday. It was yesterday. Tricia Cornwell from Morgan Ave. She emailed us concerns regarding speed and volume on Morgan Ave as sort of a cut through between Route 7 and St. David's. And she was wanting, you know, her neighborhood to come to the meeting to speak with us in December. But because I did receive the communication, I figure I'll mention it now. We've already begun deploying traffic counters and starting to do analysis of that roadway for what any identified concerns may be and next steps we can do to sort of alleviate what's going on over there.
Who wrote that?
Tricia Cornwell, Cornwell.
What was that, St. David's and what?
So it was Morgan Ave.
Oh, Morgan.
Yep, as a cut through between St. David's and Route 7. Town events. The Mohawk Hudson Marathon was held October 9th. I just want to say thank you to all the agencies that supported this event to make it a success. It was awesome. District 1, the Auxiliary Police Department, Schenectady County Sheriff's Office, all the local canine units. Anyone I'm missing, great job. Thank you for the support in this. Without you folks, we wouldn't be able to do it. The racers themselves, the actual Mohawk Hudson Marathon Club, if you will, everybody did an excellent job in making this a safe and successful occasion. So thank you. Drug Take Back Day was held October 29th. We took in 208 pounds of drugs at the event, with another 247 pounds that we had here at our agency from our drug take back boxes. Just to give perspective, in 2021, during our drug take back event, we only took in 176 pounds. So it was up substantially. That's a great thing. It's great service. Thank you for the coordination by Lieutenant Twitty. The base members from the high school came and assisted, and members of NCAP came as well. Great partnership with them. We thank everybody for their help to make it a successful event. Our Halloween Haunted Open House was held on October 30th in conjunction with the Halloween Parade, which was held by the community programs, Muskegon Community Programs. Thank you to everybody that was involved. I think it was a success. Everybody that came, nothing but positive feedback. We had our first ever smoke machine, right? And some cool costumes and decorations inside the police department, and people really enjoyed that. Lieutenant Twitty, Detective Sergeant Frenier, and Officer Robinson, I want to thank them for assisting with this event. Again, many hands make light work, and everybody pitching in is a great thing for not only our agency, but our community. So thank you to everybody that was involved for that. Town Clerk, Michelle Martinelli. Some of the things that were just added to the agenda were that we are continuing to look into online dog licensing and also alarm fees payment online as well. Did you want to speak anything?
Yeah, we're working on it's really renewals at this time. Along with Seth, we're trying to coordinate with our new bank to get as many payments online as we can for our residents. So that would include from my office the dog license renewals, the alarm fee renewals that we do together, and also yard waste payments. And also we could also do birth certificates, death certificates, marriage licenses, that type of thing. Marriage certificates. So as much as we can coordinate together with the clerk's program and our new bank, that would be very helpful to the residents.
It's going to be amazing for the residents.
Yes.
Stuff. I mean, having the ability to do sort of a one-stop shop for all of those things, I think is going to substantially, from a customer service perspective, make us not only much more efficient, but it's going to put a lot of smiles on people's faces. So,
I hope so.
yeah. Do you want to talk about dangerous dogs? Or you want to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just one more thing. We're going to add the dangerous dogs contract. We had talked about this. I believe this is the beginning of this year. The Mohawk Hudson Humane Society was the agency that we were looking to potentially contract with. There were some issues with actually going and visiting the site due to COVID protocols, and we're going to pick that back up and sort of continue to look into that to try to get something set up with someone for dangerous dogs.
With them, or are you expanding the search?
They are, I believe, the only one in the area that does it. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that was the case,
That's what we
which is
found.
why we
found out.
gravitated towards them. Yes.
Okay.
So, if I recall correctly, don't quote me on that, but if I recall correctly, that was it. So, I didn't get anything from the court or the fire department. The school district, we're continuing discussions with the district safety team regarding installation of Knox boxes for key access and also potentially camera access. They are working on their end of an MOA potentially for our town attorney to review regarding camera access for the police department with regards to the school cameras under very specific incidents that would just be continuous access in one way, shape, or form. I met with Lonnie, and I always pronounce her last name wrong, Halusik, who's a health teacher, on November 1st regarding potentially collaborating on co-teaching health class topics. We're looking for more creative ways to sort of engage our students and be a part of the discussion with them inside of the schools. We talked extensively in Reform about how best to do this, and I think this was a really good opportunity. Lonnie reached out to me as far as a collaboration, and I hope that we can get something going, because I think it would be a really worthwhile venture for all of us, including the students. Personnel, our departments continue to recruit for potential lateral transfers and assessing the current civil service list for potential hire in the January academy class. We are currently reviewing a potential lateral candidate. We're hoping to set up an interview in the next week, and that may be something we would do at the beginning of December if all goes well. Under personnel also, our agency would like to have James Walsh appointed as a second, in conjunction with Dave Stern, who's currently a dog control officer, as a second dog control officer for the town of Niskuna. Dave has, for folks that don't know, our dog control officer position is a part-time as needed position. And that's sort of hard to find somebody that fits that role, that wants to come on a very part-time basis to deal with things as needed, go to the dog parks on the weekends, things of that nature. And Jim Walsh is a retired Niskuna Police Department officer. He currently, I say substitutes for our discovery clerk. He's also a discovery clerk for us when we need, and he has been, he's offered to assist in this role with us as sort of a secondary dog control officer to help us, because Dave Stern is very busy with his full-time job. We would like to have a second person. Under other, Laura Robertson in Complete Streets, I had spoken about a couple meetings in a row. I hadn't gotten an update, but the Wyoming Ave and Baker Ave mini roundabout demonstration and Lexington Parkway bike path demonstration. And speaking to her, she gave me an update. These are going to have to be moved to spring to be further developed. She said that we can take them off at this point because they haven't come to a final conclusion as to where they're going to do them and even when they're going to do them. So they're continuing their own internal discussions, so we can take that right off for now. And then I just have a list of the resolutions. We did keep on the Street Crimes Task Force MOA as a tentative. I know
It's not tentative. It's going forward.
oh, it is going forward? Excellent. That's great news. Okay. I have the award for the grant, and then I have James Walsh appointed the dog control officer. Is there anything else I missed that needs a resolution? No? Okay. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to add or speak about before I close the meeting? No? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Are there any opposed? And with that, we'll close the meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 1st, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you.